That just happened.
Okay.
And then more people will come, and I know someone's gonna watch it online,
Okay.
so it might feel awkward just talking to Ashley,
Just me and Ashlyn.
but someone is gonna pay attention.
Okay, this is on. I thought it was off. I'll turn it on. So you're brand new. You're excited. What is your goal with real estate?
I need to think about that more. I feel like I need to set my goal, but I don't know, really right now I just want to focus on learning a lot because I guess I don't know a lot. So I feel like that's my goal right now, but my long-term goal is obviously to be successful, and I want to teach other people about real estate too.
Yeah,
and,
awesome. You want to go full time, make
Yeah.
this your career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the rest of my life.
Okay, so you said you've been interested because you moved around a bunch as a kid and you like went through this process. So what about it appeals to you?
No, there's just so many different types of homes, and I don't know, like I said, like the joy it just brings people because you do so much in your home. Like my mom has always been really big on having people over, so having an inviting space that makes people feel comfortable, I think is just really important.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
find like that space that makes them comfortable where they can do everything. So
Awesome. Okay, well, one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize when they get into real estate is that it is about sales, right? And so, yes, the homes are part of it, a big part of it. You have to be an expert and understand a lot about the home, but also the process. But the big thing that I didn't really understand when I got into real estate is that it is all about sales and lead generation. And this is our topic today. So, your database, you talked about wanting to build a database. That's so smart. That's the first thing because your database is your business. And Gary Keller says, basically, let's see, there's this great quote. Anyway, he just basically says, if you look at your database right now and look at the leads that you have, do you have enough leads to if you successfully closed all those leads, would you have met your goals for the year? Okay, so that's good. So if that's the case, if you have enough leads to meet your goal, then your number one thing to work on is conversion, making sure that you can convert those leads into a successful transaction. If you don't have enough leads to meet your goals, then your number one thing is get leads. And that is primarily what we're going to talk about today because leads are the lifeblood, the base of your business. So your database is your business. This is something that you've probably learned about a lot so far. Have you guys reviewed 36 Touch?
Yeah.
And stuff like that?
That was the last class.
Okay. So that is pretty similar to, like, we're going to talk about lead follow-up today, which is basically your 36 Touch and 8x8. Like, how do we go about systematizing a way to keep in contact with people? Because lead follow-up is all about, it's all about speed. So this number two thing, speed to lead, it is so important because statistically, if you're looking at sellers, 80% of sellers only interview one or two agents. So if you're the first agent they talk to, your chance of getting that listing is really high. With buyers, it's more than 71%, I think, of buyers choose the first agent they talk to. They don't even interview other agents. So getting to that lead fast is really important. So I have a lead system that I use, a lead platform that I pay for, and they send me leads. And as soon as I get a lead coming in on my phone, it comes in through a text. And I've just set up a shortcut key so I can text them right back. I just type in 2 letters and it brings up a whole paragraph of text. And I just text them right back. I like change the name. That's all. And it's a text that says, hey, thanks so much for reaching out. I saw that you're interested in investing in the Salt Lake area. I've lived in Utah for 30 years. I have a lot of experience with this area. I have investments myself. And I would love to chat with you about strategies that I see in the market right now. When's a good time to set up a call? And so I send that first text like within seconds of getting their information. And if you can follow up within 5 minutes with a phone call or a text, whatever you need, that is a huge part of getting that lead to convert into an appointment. Hi, what's your name? Brandon, I'm Courtney. Nice to meet you. We're just talking about leads and following up with leads, getting leads. That's going to be our topic for today. But do you know Ashlyn? So Ashlyn just got licensed in December and in January for you. And she's working part-time, but she's going to go full-time into real estate. That's her goal. What about you?
Yeah, same thing.
Really? What are you doing now?
I've been doing IT.
Nice. So it's time to
Yeah.
transition out of that. Hey, what's your name? Ben, I'm Courtney. Nice to meet you too. Ben, do you know Brandon?
Yeah.
And then do you know Ashlyn? Okay, so Ben, we were just talking about our story a little bit. Tell us how long you've had your license.
Since April of last year, so
Oh, nice.
I've done a year now.
Uh-huh. How's it been going for you?
Good. I've had two closings, listing and then the buying.
Nice job. That's fantastic. Has it been feeling comfortable?
No. I still, after get closing, I'm still on that I know what I'm doing.
Really? Yeah, I know. It takes a while. The 2 closings, confidence is a huge part of it. And having a closing, you go through all the processes, right? And you're starting to put into action the things that you're learning. And then even the most seasoned agents will tell you, I learned something new with every transaction. So there are going to be curveballs, but like having the confidence to know that you know what to do, like you know who to reach out to, you know how to handle this, or you know what a good path would look like, or who to, our broker Dean is super accessible and he answers questions fast and you can rely on his answers. So he's a good one to reach out to. Cameron's another good one. But also you guys like forming relationships with each other so that you feel comfortable texting each other saying, how did you handle this? Or have you ever encountered this? That's super helpful. So sometimes it feels like the blind leading the blind, but still is nice to have someone that you know will respond to you. Like on a weekend, sometimes it's hard to get in touch with someone from the brokerage, but having resources. I'll put my name and number up here too, and you guys can feel free to reach out to me. I was telling Ashlyn, I'm Courtney Huber. There's another Courtney in our brokerage, Courtney Nielsen. Reach out to her. She's awesome. She's been doing this a long time. I've been licensed for 2 years and I closed 19 transactions last year. So it was a really good year. But like you guys, I'm still learning. And they say that the best person to teach is the person who's just done what they're teaching. So I'm just coming through this process as well. And but I've been in real estate for a while as an investor. So I have 6 investment properties and I've been doing that for about 10 years. So it's a great avenue. I'm excited for you guys. So Ben, Brandon, Ashlyn, right? So Ben, what is your goal with real estate? Are you hoping to make this your full-time career?
Yeah, I hope. Yeah,
Awesome. Where are you working now?
I manage a FedEx.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. Okay, so today we're talking about lead generation. I'm just going to go back for a second. Or sorry, lead follow-up, but we're going to talk a lot about lead generation as well. So database. Ashlyn said she's working first and foremost on building her database. I'm sure you guys have talked about this before, so you all have a database. Is that right? What does it look like right now? Is it in command? Yes? Not yet? You just got started, right? That's going to be your first step though, Brandon, honestly. Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's okay too. You know, like I got one of my first paychecks came from my friend who lives in Georgia, and I referred her to an agent there, and they closed on a property, and I got $3,500 just as a referral fee. Yeah. And it's not like I connected her with a great agent who helped her and provided a lot of value. So it's not someone she would have found otherwise necessarily. So there is a lot of value in that. So don't eliminate the out-of-staters, but I see what you're saying. So you're getting organized. Do you know how to put it into command? Okay. So what about you, Brandon? How does your database look? Sorry, you're Brandon. What about you, Ben?
It's okay. And it's not, for me, it's not super interesting, but I'm also not that savvy, but I still use it.
Have you started tagging people? You tag people and everything? And have you developed your 36 touch program yet?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're doing okay. Those are all good things. Hello, how are you? My name's Courtney. Stacy, nice to meet you, Stacy. Do you know Brandon?
I think we've done it a couple.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brandon's new to this game. He just got licensed in January. Nice. And what is your goal with real estate, Stacy?
Have a career, build a business,
So you're going full time.
be busy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I love it. Stacy, how did you get interested in real estate?
It's something that I did for years, and I just I did a career change and decided to come and play.
That's awesome. What career were you in before? Uh-huh. Where?
I worked for TransUnion
Mm,
for 15 years.
that's awesome. Okay, so Brandon is also coming in full time. He's from the IT world. And do you know Ben sitting next to you? And this is Ashlyn.
Yes. Been in the class involved.
You guys have met already. Okay, so Ashlyn just got licensed in January. We're talking about database today. So how's your database looking, Ashlyn?
I haven't put all of my contacts in there yet, but I think that's my first right now. So,
Okay. It's holding you back.
I'm just so busy with my other job right now, but
So finding time.
yeah.
So if this is priority number one, if you had 2 hours today, could you get a lot done on
I was
that?
planning on doing it after this class.
Okay,
so-
that's awesome. Because sometimes I say time is my holdback, but it's actually something else because when I get time, I'll like spend it doing other stuff, you know? So figuring out your blocks is hard sometimes, but that's important. Okay, Stacy, how's your database looking?
Just-
Do you have contacts in your phone? Into command? Did you pull them out into command?
No, not. Already. He started training with Cameron. He's down and don't put it in command until you call them. So
Oh, I think you can put it into command, but maybe don't start sending them stuff until you call them. So,
I think trying to get us to.
oh, okay. Well, don't let me contradict Cameron. This is being recorded. Cameron's going to know that I just contradicted him.
I did not.
Okay, so database is the pillar, it's the foundation of your business, right? You can't do anything without clients. So, like, you go to a doctor's office, a doctor can be so educated, they are, if they're licensed, they've been through years and years of specialized training. If they don't have any patients, then all of their expertise is for naught, right? They can't do anything. So similarly, we need clients. And you guys are having the challenge of getting educated at the same time that you're building your business. And that can be super tricky because, like Ben knows, he's done 2 transactions already. And as you start going, you don't necessarily feel like you know everything you need to know as you start working. And one of the things, like, Cameron will encourage you is just get going, just do stuff because you learn by doing. And that is true. But also, you got to be learning as you go along. I mean, you got to be putting that foundation in place. So, number one thing, build your database. That is made up of who? Who's in your database? Yeah, everyone can be in your database, right? We'll talk a little bit later about how you can sort of sort and categorize that. But yeah, anyone, like, if you walk into a grocery store and you see someone that you know, they can be in your database. If you see someone that you know that you want to have a conversation with, they're in your database, but maybe in a different category. If you see someone you know that you want to go out to dinner with, then again, that's a different category, right? But anyone can be in your database. And even Brandon was saying people who are out of state, they can be in your database because if you're marketing to them, they may not transact real estate with you here in Utah, but they may have a family member who they recommend to you. They may have a friend. They may have plans to move here that you don't know about. I just think reaching out to them, letting them know what you're doing, especially if they're a friend that you feel comfortable calling, I think that's great. I was also saying they can be a referral source. Like, if they're transacting business in their state, you can refer them to a real estate agent and get commission off of that, and also provide value for them. Because honestly, like, after a few months of coming to these classes and interacting with agents, you're going to start to feel like, I know so much more about how to find a good real estate agent than I ever did. And uh, as an investor, when I was looking for real estate agents and interviewing agents, it was hard to know who the good ones were. So that felt really important. Working with a good agent makes a huge difference. Working with a great agent makes an even bigger difference. So get your database in command, get it organized, and then you can start to grow it. This is the number 2 law, is feed your database every day if you can. Make that a goal, a priority. So how do you feed your database, Ben?
How do I get people?
How do you feed your database? Yeah.
Well, after I went through all my contacts of like who I know, everybody, and just started coming up with houses.
So open houses are a great thing. And so you have your database like Stacy's doing. You set it up, right, with the people that you knew. And then to feed it, you started doing open houses and putting names in from open houses. So that's a good way. What's another way that you feed your database?
Networking groups.
Yeah, good. So you're talking about lead generation, basically, right? Another way you can do it is, like, you go to your kids' event, whatever it is, and you see someone that you haven't talked to for a while and you start chatting. That person can go into your database. You start working with, like, Ben on your first transaction, you probably worked with a lender that you didn't know. That person can go into your database because lenders can be great referral partners. And you might even transact business with a lender. But so yes, lots of ways to put people in your database. We'll go over lead generation, but I want to highlight that once you add someone, contacting them frequently is a priority, especially if it's someone who's looking to do something in the next little while. If there's someone, so you're going to categorize your leads like hot, cold, not cold, hot, warm, nurture, that kind of thing. Then that will determine how quickly and how frequently you contact them. I was talking with Ashlyn already, sorry, Ashlyn, about speed to lead. When you get a new lead, contacting them quickly, especially if it's a lead who's interested specifically in real estate. So Ben brings up open houses. This is a great lead source. That person is going out looking for a house. They're already interested. They're already engaged. They may have talked to a lender, they may not, but they are interested in purchasing something, right? They're so interested that they're going out to look. So getting in touch with them a week later, they've probably already done a bunch of stuff. They've moved on mentally from you and that meeting that you had. So if it's someone that you don't know, contacting them quickly and then maintaining contact with them helps build a relationship. And people want to do real estate with people that they know, like, and trust. So if you can help them know you and like you and trust you, they'll want to do business with you. If it's someone you don't know, then you need to build that with some frequency. So I get leads from a paid source sometimes. And when I get a text that says this person's interested in investing in real estate, I have a shortcut in my phone. I just type in 2 letters. It brings up a whole paragraph of text that I send to them and just change their name. And it just says basically, hey, Mike, I saw that you were looking at investing in real estate in the Salt Lake area. I have lived in Utah for 30 years. I also invest in the Salt Lake area. I know this area really well. I would love to talk with you about strategies and opportunities that I see in this market right now. Do you have time today or tomorrow to set up a call? And so if they don't text me back, then I call them. If I can't reach them after several tries, I might just put them in my database and then reach out to them more systematically and more casually. But if I get engagement, usually I can convert that lead. So speed is really important. 71% of buyers will not even interview a second agent. They'll just pick the first person they talk to. 80% of sellers only interview 1 or 2 agents. So if you're the first agent, you have a really high chance of getting that client. All right, so this is what I was saying before. You can find leads everywhere. Just in your daily activities, where do you talk to people? Are you a member of any clubs or organizations, Stacy? So tell us how it would look for you to find a lead in daily life, in the wild.
So I'm on the Festival of Trees Executive Board. So we only meet occasionally, but we hang out for a week in December. So I am in the process of putting all of them into a database. So reaching out, just kind of letting them know that the kids doing that would be a good thing for me to do.
Yeah.
Before we actually have one on 19th, so that's a good thing. But and then the other one that I do is a women's organization at camp every year. So spend a week together with them, and then we do 2 planning. So
That's awesome.
I didn't open house instead of
Different place to get leads, I guess. Well, okay, so one of the things that I think is tricky about starting out in real estate is trying to, like, we're going to talk to you guys a lot about using your existing relationships to get business, but it shouldn't feel like you're using people to get business, right? And that feels uncomfortable for a lot of people. It felt really uncomfortable for me. So one thing that really helped me a lot was understanding that you can just have a conversation with somebody, and it doesn't have to be, you don't have to have an agenda. So like if I come up to Ashlyn and I haven't seen you in a while and I'm just approaching you, like, let's say we're at some event together and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Ashlyn. I haven't seen her for 2 years. And I come up and I say, hey, Ashlyn, how's it going? I'm not going to be like, hey, by the way, I just started in real estate. And if you ever need anything, here's my card. You know what I mean? A more organic conversation would be what? Yeah, exactly. What have you been up to? How's your family? Do you guys know about the Ford script? Okay, so that's great. I just told my teenage son about this the other day. He's doing driver's ed, and he has to sit for 2 hours in a car with a stranger who's, you know, they're one-on-one taking a 2-hour drive up to American Fork Canyon and around, and he has to have a conversation with them. And I'm like, just do the Ford script. Just talk about these things. And he's like, Mom, I got this. It's fine. But it is very helpful in daily life. And you never have to bring up real estate. Even in a call, even in a prospecting call, you never have to bring up real estate. But when it comes up organically, just talk about what you're doing and what you're excited about. All right. Whew. Sorry about that background. So then you systematically market to your database. So these are the 4 laws, right? First of all, you have to have a database. Number 2, you have to feed the database, and then you market to your database. So these are things like your 36 touch program, right? This is stuff that you guys probably have already learned. And if not, you're going to hear this a lot. We'll talk a little bit about it today. But this is just a way of staying top of mind. So when you think about, so do you guys know Becca Summers in our agency? She's like a superstar. She did, I don't know, 37 transactions last year. She does like, I think she did like more than $20 million of business volume. She's really, really good. She's really, really smart. And the thing she always says, very simple rule, when people think about real estate, I want them to think about me. That's cool. It's just very simple, quick, concise. When people think about real estate, I want them to think about me. So the way she does that and stays top of mind, they're varied. There are lots of different ways. So the 36 touch program is designed to give you lots of different contacts with people. You contact them through email. You contact them through social media. You contact them through phone calls, through maybe a physical mail or a drive-by, pop-by, giveaway, stuff like that. Sorry that this background's so bad. I changed it, but I don't know why it changed back. But the more you contact them, the more comfortable they feel like, oh, Ashlyn actually knows what she's doing. She's been doing this for a while. Maybe you contact them in the beginning and you're new and they're like, great, you're in real estate. Hope that works out for you, you know? And then as you keep doing it and they see you posting regularly, they start to think like, oh, Ashlyn, real estate, she knows what she's talking about. And then you reach out to them with something valuable like, hey, if you want to adjust your property taxes, this is the way you do it. And then they're like, oh, that was helpful. And then maybe you do like a lot of agents do a pie at Thanksgiving or something. And then you've given them something that they enjoy. And all of these things just build and build. And somebody who you first contact may not do business with you for 2 years, but by that time you've built up a lot of trust and familiarity. So they understand that you are in this business, you're committed, and you know what you're doing. And honestly, you guys, especially you younger guys, this is going to be one of your biggest challenges. You have to overcome the fact that people know that people get in and out of real estate fast sometimes. And so if you can prove your staying power, it's just going to build and build. And for you guys, like, it's hard to establish trust because like Stacy approaches somebody, Stacy, have you ever bought a house? How many homes have you bought in your life? A good handful of homes. Brandon? Yeah. So you guys have been through this process. People see you and think, yeah, these guys know what they're doing because you have that gravitas of like having lived that experience, right? I'm lucky too because not only have I bought and sold houses for myself, but I've done that as an investor as well. So there's another layer. You guys have to sort of prove yourselves a little bit because they're like, Ashlyn, you're 19. What can you know about real estate? But you've just got to be that much smarter and you've got to know facts and you've got to know statistics and you've got to know things about the house that they don't know and sort of prove your value a little bit through whatever it might be. And maybe it's not knowledge about the house. Maybe it's you're proving your value because you're providing other resources for them. Like, oh, you want to leave your house and you don't want to take all your stuff out? No problem. There's this donation center. These guys will come pick it up. Whatever you don't want, leave it in the cupboards. We'll come get it. So there are lots of ways. What's that? Yeah, I know. There are a couple of donation centers for like refugees. So a lot of people feel good when you offer a resource like that. And then they're having a Rolodex, Stacy, of people like that just to solve people's problems is really helpful. So this is what I would recommend. This is a hot tip. Start a database of vendors. So you guys are on the WhatsApp groups. There's a lot of chat around the general chat. People oftentimes will go in there and say, hey, I need a good plumber. Who do you recommend? So I just started putting into my database whenever I would go through the group chat at night, and whenever anybody recommended somebody, I just would put them. I started a tab for plumbers. I just did a Google sheet, and I have like 36 tabs in there: painters, plumbers, contractors, foundation specialists, structural engineers, movers, junk removers. So cleaners, window cleaners, like you're going to get a million different recommendations. Just start a database like that. And I always make note of who is recommending them, because you'll start to notice like some agents, you feel really confident using their refers. And sometimes like anyone can participate in the general chat and it's super helpful. But sometimes if I don't know that agent, I'm maybe less likely to write down their recommendation. Or if it's like a brand new agent, I'm like, maybe I'll vet that a little bit. You know what I mean? So that being said, don't hesitate to contribute to the general chat, because everybody brings experience from their life, whether you've been an agent for 10 years or 10 minutes, right? But just keep that in mind as you build your own database of resources. Okay. Then the next law is service all the business that comes your way. So do you remember the first law? Sorry, Stacy. Yeah, have a database, right? Second law, grow it, feed it. Third law, market to it. Be systematic about your marketing. And then the fourth law, service all the business that comes your way. So people are going to start calling you. People are going to start reaching out. Interestingly, like my very first transaction was my neighbor, who was my very good friend, and she was moving out of our neighborhood. And she had talked to, there's a realtor in our area that's very well known I live in Provo, and she has been called the Queen of Provo before. Like her listings are everywhere. She's been doing this for a million years. And so everybody knows about her. And when they think of real estate, a lot of times they think of her. And she was going to use this realtor to sell her house. And I came to one of these classes. Do you guys know Cam and Hyatt? He is an awesome agent. His picture's on the wall up here somewhere. I'll point to it if I can find it. This is Cameron right here. He used to be a highway patrolman. Super cool, super smart, is really good at talking to people. And he was teaching a class, and he said, let's just do some role plays, and who has a situation? And I was like, I do. I don't know how to approach my neighbor who's about to sell her house with this other real estate agent, and she's one of my best friends. So I don't want to wreck the relationship. I don't want to make it awkward. I just want to help her sell her house, and I think I can do a good job. And so he just sat down with me and talked about how to provide value for her. And I role played this situation. I went and I talked to her, and I got the transaction, I got the deal, and we sold it really fast because it was a great house in a great neighborhood. And the agent representing the buyer was that other agent who lost the listing. But because I was new, one of my value adds was I told her I would do this listing at a reduced rate. So this other agent actually made more money on the transaction than I did. But it was a great experience for me. And the thing I would say about that is when someone reaches out to you, you've got to be ready to go to work for them, right? You've got to be ready to give your best. You've got to be ready to know what you're doing. So with that said, I don't want you to feel like you shouldn't get started, because you should, but don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. Don't be afraid to even admit to your client sometimes, I don't know the answer to that, but I will find it. I've got this great team supporting me with combined, 80 years of experience, however many, and we will get you the right answer. Okay, tell me your name again.
Sam.
Sam, I'm Courtney.
Meet you.
Nice to meet you. Do you know Ashlyn?
Yeah, we know.
You guys know each other. Brandon,
Hello, Brandon.
this is Sam. Stacy? And do you know Ben?
Yeah.
Yes, awesome. Sam, how long have you been in real estate? 10 months, sweet. Have you done any deals yet?
Supposed to be a last month.
Yeah, how'd it feel? Really? Were you representing buyer or seller?
Buyer.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Good job. Okay, so part of getting leads, a big part of getting leads, really the goal of this whole thing is to get referrals from clients, right? So giving them the kind of service that makes them want to work with you again, makes them want to refer their friends and family to you is huge. So you want to be the kind of agent where you can confidently say to someone, I want to help you because working with me, like I can't imagine if you worked with someone else, I would feel so sad because I know I can do a better job for you. I'm going to give you more than they give you. I'm going to do better for you than they're going to do. So you can confidently sell yourself because you know that you have what it takes and you know that you care enough. Like Stacy said originally when she came in, she wants to help people, right? Like a lot of you are here because you help people. And I think that's a good way of viewing it. So we're going to talk in this industry a lot about sales and numbers, but really just the crux of it is we're in a service industry and we want to be able to serve people in a way that actually benefits them and adds value to their lives. All right, so leads versus clients. What's the difference? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So a lead is typically someone you don't know or haven't talked to yet, right? So if you have a listing and your sign is out in front and someone calls the number on your sign, that's a lead, right? Sometimes when you get a listing, the MLS will start sending you leads because people will interact with Utah real estate and looking for a realtor. That's a lead. All those other lead generating activities we were talking about before, like going to open houses, those are leads. You might have already talked to them, but they're still a lead until they become your client. So potentially, it's just waiting to be cultivated into relationships, right? So these are people that once you start communicating with them and building a relationship and building familiarity, we just treat them as a lead. So this is Gary Keller. This is what I was saying before. Did I say? Sorry, I know everyone's come in at different times, but if I repeat this, it's worth repeating. You have two essential jobs. You have selling real estate, right? Doing all of the transaction details and getting leads. And in order to succeed, you have to master this art of getting leads, because if you don't have any leads, you're not going to have any clients. All right. Human connection. So what do you guys think is the most effective way to communicate with somebody? Say it louder. Yeah, absolutely. In person, face to face. Why?
One person.
Feels better. I mean, it's awkward sometimes. Like when we started this class, it's just me and Ashlyn, but already I feel like Ashlyn and I could go to lunch and have a nice conversation, right? We should do it sometime. In person is huge. It's uncomfortable sometimes. What's the next best way? Yeah. So video call actually is taking up space now because you can get a lot of the same benefits of a face-to-face interaction, but it's, it's a little less personal because it's over a device. However, I actually meet a lot of my clients, first time consultations are video calls because I work with a lot of investors and they're out of state. So the video call is actually really nice and even better than a phone call, which is next. Why do you think a video call would beat a phone call? Yeah. And also, do you feel like you know someone better when you know what they look like? I think so.
A lot of communication happens, it's not verbal.
Yeah, and a lot of connection. Like I talk to people on the phone, they probably think I'm 18. And then they see me and they're like, oh, this is a woman with grown children. Like they assume things about you based on your appearance, which can work for your benefit or your detriment, right? But also just having like an eye to eye experience just helps us understand each other, helps us connect. So phone call is really nice because versus text. What do you think phone call beats text? Say it louder. Yeah. Uh-huh. More interactive. How comfortable, if I told you guys today, call the first 10 people in your database today, does that feel scary or easy? Scary. Talk to me about that. Yeah, so it's scary because you haven't like they're gonna think, why is she calling me? If I said to you guys, text the first 10 people in your database, I gave you the choice, Sam. You could text the first 10 people in your database or you can call them. Which would you rather do? Yeah, texting's easier. So, but texting is clear down here. This is a hierarchy. So number one's at the top. Texting's near the bottom. But honest to goodness, if I called even some of my good friends, they'd be like, why are you calling? Like, just text me. Yeah, they think something's wrong. So I will say, yes, keep this in mind. But if I called some of my friends, it's going to feel so fake and weird rather than if I text them. I can text them and say, hey, do you want to meet for lunch? And that's way more natural than calling them just to chat. So I'm going to go a little off book here, but I'm going to say do what feels comfortable for that relationship. I don't think you need to do what feels comfortable for you. Sometimes we would never call because that's not comfortable for us, but what feels comfortable for the relationship. And if you're texting, maybe you could say at some point, hey, would you ever have time for like a phone call to catch up? It'd be fun to chat. And you don't have to talk about business even, but working towards ease with a phone call might be nice, maybe not. But texting at least is better than nothing, right? And texting is better than mass email. So don't do that. You will do some of that. But as you're like only contact with someone, find a way to reach out that feels natural. So when you get a call, like a lead, and they're interested in real estate and it's specifically for business, a lot of people will set up a meeting, right? Ben, how did you tell us about how you got your first 2 transactions? What did that look like? How did you get those clients?
They were family members.
Yeah. So you knew them. And how did they reach out to you about real estate?
I like this house.
Did they call you? Did they text you? How did they know you were in real estate? Yeah. So how did you tell them? We're just working backwards here to the beginning.
Okay. Okay, call them. Got my license now.
Yeah. Was this like a brother or a parent? A parent. So were both of them parents?
Yeah.
Your first 2 transactions? That's awesome. So they knew that you were involved in real estate. So this is actually a great way to like a great introduction for some people. So for, like they'll talk to you guys a lot about your intro, like an announcement letter. You guys heard that, where you send out a letter to everyone in your database saying, hey, I'm in real estate now. I just got my license. I never did that. I hate that because it tells everybody I'm brand new at real estate. And maybe Ashlyn, because you're 19, that's okay. People know that you're new, but even still at 19, I feel like announcing that you're brand new at something, hey, trust me to help you with the $500,000 asset that you have, feels like kind of crazy. Yeah. So a better way to announce it might be to some business and then announce it that way. Even doing an open house, just like,
Testify to that. So if you like those, asked, say, hey, can I take a picture of you in front of your house and use it on my social media? I said, yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to take some pictures and then posted it. And I got like a ton of people like, oh, wow, congratulations. I was like, no, and I'm getting people talking like, you're in real estate. And it's better saying like, yeah, I closed the deal. Now people are like, oh yeah, no, he knows what he's doing. Rather than say, hey guys, trust me with your $500,000 asset.
I love that, Sam, because he's not saying, hey, I'm just brand new at real estate. Give me a chance. He's saying, hey, I'm in real estate and doing this thing. So he's already building trust because he's doing it, right? So this is a great example of getting some social proof that you're good at your job.
Another one that you can say was, since you are new, you don't have that many leads, so you can give a bunch of your time to that one.
Yeah. So another agent was just talking to me about a friend of hers that reached out to her. And this agent is newish too. She's been in the business for like a year and a half. And she has done a bunch of transactions. And she had this friend reach out to her and say, hey, my brother has his house listed right now with another agent. And he's really dissatisfied because this agent has 60 listings. And he feels like they're not giving him the time of day. They're just plugging him into their machine and it's not working for him and he's dissatisfied. So can you talk to him? And first of all, she can't reach out to someone who is already contracted with another agent. So she can just say to her friend, hey, I would love to help him. If that doesn't work out with that other agent, let him reach out to me. So he ended his agreement with the other agent, or it expired. And then she reached out to him once he wasn't already contracted with another agent. And basically the same thing, like, hey, I can give this my full time and attention. I only have one other listing right now, and this is how I do it. So that can be really appealing to some people, and they would prefer that over working with a mega agent. In fact, when I'm looking for referrals for friends in other states, like you can go into Command and you can look up by transaction number agents in the area. So I had a friend moving to Philadelphia and I said, I'll find you an agent. And I started looking in Philadelphia and I'm like, oh, this guy's awesome. He has 300 closed transactions last year. He really knows what he's doing. When they have that many closed transactions, they're like a team leader, right? And then they're just farming out your friend to a member of their team, and you don't know what that person's like. And that's not the person that you're calling and talking to when you're setting up the referral, right? So sometimes I've started now looking for agents who have done like 15 transactions, because then I can see, okay, they know what they're doing, but they also have enough time to give attention to my client, right? So sometimes it's not an advantage to be the biggest producer. Sometimes it's an advantage to give personalized time and attention. And you can understand, like, as you're talking to someone, what their needs are. But that's a great selling point for you in the beginning. Another good selling point for you guys in the beginning, just starting out, is that you really do have a team behind you because you're on the productivity team, right? And you have Novalee and Dean and Cameron are all so smart and experienced, and they are all very willing to answer your questions and very, they're good. They're just good at what they do. So reach out to them. I was telling anyone who arrived later, you can reach out to me as well. Send me a text, video call if you want. Anyway, communicating with people, prioritize the most effective communication methods. So this is, sorry, getting back to the beginning, when you meet with somebody, so when you have a client, meeting with face-to-face is so important for getting their business, so converting that lead into a client. If you can't meet with them face to face because scheduling is so tricky, sometimes people really appreciate the opportunity to just do a video call and have that meeting over Google Meets or FaceTime even, or Zoom, whatever platform you're comfortable with. And I would encourage you to actually offer this to people sometimes, because it is really nice and convenient and still a great way to establish connection. All right. So if you have enough leads that if you close them properly, you'll meet your goals, then work on conversion. If you don't have enough leads, put everything else on hold and go get more leads. So how many of you guys have a goal? It's hard to make goals when you're brand new because you're like, what is even possible for me? And what is realistic? What is a stretch goal? What is realistic, right? But how many of you have thought about a goal for this year? Stacy, you want to talk about it?
So we have wanting to make or to make that how many bells we must have. You kind of narrative update on if you're gonna have that many bells, how many people do you have to fund that? So mine came out that I needed to have to do 2.5 appointments a week.
Okay, awesome. This is awesome. So Stacy talked through that process that Cameron has worked through with some of you and will eventually work through with all of you, right? And he starts with money and ends with appointments. And I like to start with, I mean, everybody thinks about money, it's true, but I think focusing on the number of transactions is actually helpful, could be a helpful construct, because I find that when I focus on money, sometimes that skews my thinking a little bit. So focusing on transactions has been helpful for me. So then you work that backwards to the number of appointments. And what I like about that is the appointments are a leading indicator and the result is the lagging indicator, right? So what do you have control over? Do you have control over who is closing business with you, ultimately? Do you have control over a person's decision to buy or sell a house, ultimately? Do you have control over how many phone calls you make? Yeah. So you have control over a lot of the leading indicators. You don't technically have control over appointments made, even because, again, you're relying on somebody else's decision making, right? They have to decide to meet with you. You can encourage and influence and persuade.
The contact made, so many of them are going to turn into an appointment for you. So
Yeah, he does statistically like sort it out.
I think
Yeah, based on like a standard conversion rate. So that's all super helpful. And I love that Cameron's really good at helping you extrapolate based on what you want, where you need to start, right? But I would just say focus on those leading indicators because you have more control over them. And if you do those things, then you're going to get to a result in the end, right? So it's basically the same thing Cameron is saying to you. Whoops. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay. The 36 touch program is the systemization of your lead follow-up. Once you get a lead, what do you do with it? Brandon, somebody says, hey, my buddy wants to buy a house. Okay, so you say, can I get their number? Can you put me in contact with them? Great. Another idea that is helpful, not everybody's willing to do this, but is you could say, hey, the best way for me to get in touch with them is with you. So do you mind putting us in a group chat and introducing me to your friend and just letting me, get to know them that way? And then if they're willing to do that, that's nice because the ethos of your friend, that relationship carries over a little bit to you, and then you can pick it up from there and then take it to a different conversation, So, okay, you want to get in touch with them. Let's say they give you, okay, Stacy, let's say they give you their name and number. What do you do? Oh, wait, back up. So you didn't talk to them yet. They didn't do the group chat. They just said, your friend said, well, I'm just going to give you his number. Yeah, awesome. I love it. Okay, let's say that your friend says, I'll just have him reach out to you. I love it. Absolutely. If you can have some control over that, I mean, it is possible that that person would reach out to you, but it's very unlikely. I've had this happen so many times. And it's a friend who's like, oh yeah, I told them all about you and I totally hyped you up. They're super gonna call you. No. So if you can get control of that a little bit and you can reach out to them, that's better. Best is a three-way conversation. Second best is you get their information. Okay, so then Stacy, awesome. You said you're going to do what? You're going to call them. Okay, awesome. What else could you do? You could send them a text offering, just like I do with my leads that say, do you want to set up a phone call? Less effective, but if you, I would say call them first right away. Yeah, exactly. Send them a text. 100%. So we talked about speed to lead before. Don't let 5 minutes go by. Seriously, just call them right away. Okay, so you call them. Ben, what are you going to say?
Hey, they're from here, but buy a house.
Yeah. And what else?
Here to know.
Yeah, I can help you with that. Awesome. I love it. Okay, Ashlyn, he says, oh, I am not really sure I'm ready. I was just thinking about it. We were just like chatting. I don't know why he said I was ready. Yeah, that's awesome. Asking questions is really good because you don't want to come at them with like, well, listen, this is what you need to know. Homeowners have is the net worth of renters and the market is appreciating 3.5% every year. So you can't outsave the market and blah, blah, blah. You can have some really good compelling points, but if they don't want to hear it, they're not going to hear it. So asking them questions is a really good way to proceed. So once they say to you, okay, maybe I would think about it. Sure. What do you say, Sam?
Yeah, actually, well, I'd love to get you in touch with a lender friend of mine. He can get you pre-approved, and honestly, I just want to get to know you better. So why don't we, meet for coffee? Just get to know each other. I'll do game nights. Maybe our mutual friend. We could all do a game night or something. Just get to know each other.
Yeah, that's awesome. But they're not looking for a friend. They're looking for a realtor. So what if, go ahead, Stacy.
Most of the people that I know that are good friends of mine, I would, because they know I just started, I will go, you know what, I have to get familiar with the MLS. Tell me what you're looking for and let me look for something real. And if I find something that I think you might like, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, that's a good approach too, because they are interested in houses, right? So let's say you go to a game night and you're there to play Dungeons and Dragons and everybody at the table is playing Scrabble. That's not going to be as appealing to you, right? So if you're coming shopping for a house and someone is offering you something else, you're like, well, no, I wanted a house. So getting them in front of what they want is really important. So I like this idea of sending them listings, but take it one step further. Instead of saying, is it okay if I look for listings for you? And if I see one, I'll send it to you. Yeah, exactly.
That way I can,
Uh-huh.
and if I think
Get them the thing they want ASAP. But I would say before you even do that, while you're having the conversation, they've told you, yeah, I'm thinking about it, to say, awesome. can we set up a time to meet? Because I know that if you haven't done this for a while, some things have probably changed. And if you've never done this, you're probably wondering about this process. Let me just go over this process with you, what it's going to look like. I'm going to give you some lender information because the first step is finding a good lender. And we can talk about all the steps in the house buying process. And I'll show you some things I think you might be interested in that might work for you. And then you try to like get face to face in a meeting where you do all the things, all the next steps, right? But getting face to face is the conversion. Getting an appointment is the conversion. So once you have that appointment, then you can get them to be a client, right? Like you can talk to them about becoming a client. You can tell them all the reasons that it would be great to work with you. You can tell them all the things they need to know about buying a house. You can show them the houses that might work for them and say, hey, what day this week works to go out and start looking at some of these? Sign this agreement. Let's get going, you know? So getting them from lead to client is a lot about this. Oh my gosh, do I even know how to go through this? Is a lot about this section right here, just face to face in some form and giving them what they want as soon as possible. So, anyway, so 36 Touch is just going to help systematize your contact with them so that they become more familiar with you as a realtor, right? And then, that's an inspirational quote. When you have a hot lead, 8x8 is quicker, right? It's just like we're going to keep in touch with them more frequently and faster. So let's say this, let's go back to our imaginary scenario. You've reached out to somebody that your buddy referred to you and they say, yeah, I'm thinking like in the next 6 months, we might do something. How would you categorize that lead? Warm, okay. Would you want to meet with them right away? Why? They're just warm. Yeah, within 6 months is actually, sometimes it's really half of what they're telling you. I mean, I've had a client, one of my very good friends was like, hey, we want to think about something this summer. And I'm like, great, let's just keep it on our radar. And then 2 days later, she's like, we want to meet with you tomorrow. She was, I mean, this is terrible for me. Like I did everything wrong, but she was driving that train and it showed me like her urgency was way bigger than I thought 7 months away merited, right? So we don't really know what their real urgency is. And getting in front of them, even if they're going to buy a house next year, sitting down to meet with them establishes you as the person that they're going to go to when they buy that house. And if it's this year instead of next year, even better, but you're that person, but you've got to maintain, right? So categorizing the leads is important, but also like maybe you're not, if they're really next year, once you've had a chance to sit down with them, maybe you don't reach out to them every week. Maybe you reach out to them every month or every 2 months until then they start getting more serious. And it's good to keep that consistency because what happens is timelines change. So they said next year, but when you reach out to them, a lot of times people will say, oh, actually, I was just thinking about this. I'm glad you reached out. I'm actually, you know, I just got a promotion. Stuff happens, things change, right? So
I have a lead that actually kind of falls into that. But they brought this thing that's holding them back is a credit card debt.
oh,
So, but they're like, so the wife, she wants to buy a house immediately.
mm-hmm.
The husband, he would love to buy a house and he's like, he doesn't care about debt, but she's like, I would love to buy a house, but we need to get our debt under control. And so like, I don't really know what to do with that. It's like,
Yeah. Do you have a lender that you work with? And have you encouraged them to talk to a lender?
yeah, I just started talking to them and I'm trying to push them to talk to him.
So here's the great thing. Ask your lender, say, what can you do for people who are repairing their credit or who need help with credit? Because a lot of lenders will bring them in and scope out a whole plan with them and give them very actionable steps and just lay it out like I have a lender who worked with one of my clients, and he was able to improve their credit score by like 50 points in a matter of weeks. So lenders can work some magic sometimes. And I would just say this is a value add for you, Sam, is you're like, hey, let's meet with this lender. You can even go in with them. Sometimes people are uncomfortable spilling all their financial secrets to you, but may be comfortable with the lender. But you could just say, let me set up this meeting. You could start a three-way conversation. I often do that when introducing a lender, and introduce you to this lender, and they have a plan to help you figure this out. And then once they've talked with the lender, you can follow up with the lender, or you can follow up with the client and get what their plan is. And then that informs your timeline. And then circle back with the client and say, hey, sounds like this is your timeline. Let's go, and if it's a quick timeline, if it's a 6-month timeline, just say, hey, this is where you're going to be. This is where we're targeting. We can start looking at some of this area just so you get familiar with the market.
So that thing I've been telling them, it's like, spring's right around the corner.
Uh-huh.
Like a bunch of houses are gonna be coming on the market, it's like, I'd love to show you some, just open some doors for you, just get a feel for what you want to look at.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. Helping people become familiar with the market is a nice in as well. Okay, we are about out of time. Do you guys want to talk about just brainstorm some lead generation methods? Do you guys have the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book? No? Some people say no. Who doesn't have it? You don't have it? Brandon, you don't have it? Okay, we should get that for you. I think Cameron can do that. Okay, so quickly, hot, nurture, long-term. I think you can go even deeper than that. You already know about Ford. Okay, so this is going to be a helpful thing right here. Right here. Oh no, where did it go? He had a thing in here. Some of these are Cameron size right here. This OFQ framework by Phil Jones. This is really nice for lead follow-up. So like an open house, this gives an open house example. Hi, this is Ben from KW Westfield. We met last week at the open house. Did you visit any other open houses? So name, fact, easy question. So opening statement, fact, question, OFQ. So sometimes it's a little bit of a mental block making those follow-up calls because you're not sure how you're going to say it, right? This is a very easy framework to use and really effective. So let's talk for a minute about where you get, there's two different kinds of lead generation. There's prospecting and then marketing. Who can tell me the difference? This is a hard question.
Seven in the dark here, but prospecting feels a little more individual.
Uh-huh.
Marketing's kind of like more broad approach.
Yeah, you're getting it. So that's a good overview. Marketing is about exposure. It's more indirect because think of social media. When you make a post on Facebook, Brandon, you're not like, dear Jim, this post is for you, right? You're just making a post to all of your friends, and even other people are going to see it if your profile is public or someone comments, right? So this is all about exposure, and it's indirect. If you send out a mailer to a whole neighborhood, Brandon, where do you live? Saratoga Springs. So let's say you want to send out a mailer to everyone in your zip code. That is what?
Yeah.
Oh no, you guys are going to go. It's the realtor wars of Saratoga Springs. Just kidding. You could even work together. You could do a mailer together. Okay, so you send that out. It's going to hit 500 people or however many you want it to, but it's not personal. It's indirect. Prospecting is more personal, just like Sam was saying. Whoops. And direct. So it's with those guidelines, how would you guys list some activities that would be lead generating in the prospecting category? Phone calls. Say it louder. Is that you, Ashlyn? Sorry. Okay, meals. Love it. Mm-hmm. Game nights, events. Who said it?
Open houses.
Is that,
I said it.
oh, good job. Love it. Okay, open houses. What else?
And
Yeah. What about a text? Texting, an email if it is specific to the person. What about conversations in the wild? You run into someone at the grocery store. Um, are you guys, Ben, do you do any like, what are your hobbies and interests?
I go fishing a lot, but that's mostly about myself.
Yeah, but like if you were in a fishing club or something, if you were taking a class somewhere, like just talking to people. And it doesn't have to be, hey, are you ever going to buy or sell real estate? You can just bring it up. And always, 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 I think it's important to be learning stuff about real estate because when you're learning something that's exciting to you, you want to share it, right? So like, I just learned that the median income in Utah is $98,000 and the median home price in Utah is over 5 times that, which is a real affordability challenge. That's an interesting thing you can say to someone. And since I work with a lot of investors, I can say, so isn't that crazy? How are your kids ever going to afford to buy a house? Actually, there's some interesting ideas. You can house hack. Do you know what house hacking is? Let's talk about that. You can have so house hacking gives you lots of options with roommates and some part of your house that is income. You can also do like partner with somebody, buy a house with a buddy, for instance, your first house, and then you just keep that and move on, and maybe you buy individual houses after that. Anyway, talk about that. You can talk about, oh, did you know that the Utah market, everybody thought prices were going down, and they did in some areas, but overall the market appreciated 2% last year. Like having a fun fact to share when you talk about real estate is a good idea. Okay, let's just go. This book have a lot of tabs in here. It's great. They have a lot of good ideas. Okay, so lead sources like just sold or expired listings or canceled listings, those are all things you can prospect to. And then referral partners. So like if you have a lender that you work with, that I have a lender that I've sent a few different clients to, and he reached out to me the other day and said, hey, do you want to split? Like if you ever do any buy leads from anywhere, I'll split the cost with you. So that's a great resource sometimes. Sometimes they just send people your way. Like he'll send me someone and say, hey, I was just talking to these people. They're looking for a house in this area. Can you help them out? Okay, what would be an indirect, a marketing one? Mailers? Social media? Social media can actually be both, Brandon. How can it be both? Yeah. But how can it be personal and direct? Make a comment. Uh-huh. And DMs. Or if you do like a birthday message. Right? So, but social media is actually one of the things that's nice about this side is that it leverages you. So you can do a mailer that takes you an hour to put together and it can reach 500 people. It's going to take you a lot longer to make a phone call to 500 people, right? You can make a social media post and it can reach thousands of people. And it may not be as effective, right? But it increases your exposure and leverages your time. So which one of these should you do? Yeah, that was the easy question. Both of them for sure. Okay, a couple of other things in the indirect or the marketing section is basically, it's stuff that I honestly think this is the biggest one right now, but it's stuff like mailers, flyers. You could sponsor. This is interesting. I mean, it might only cost you $500, but you could put a sign outside of your kid's elementary school or the local elementary school, like Ashland is a sponsor. Ashland so-and-so real estate sponsors Rock Canyon Elementary School, you know?
I know, like, really, you know, but buy like the shirts from the team.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, Stacy. Yeah, that's awesome. Just make sure it's your real estate name, right? That's fantastic. So lots of things you can do in this category, but everyone will tell you this one is a heavier hitter, right? This is where the connection happens and it feels more powerful, but this one is just broader. And so using both and working both into your system is a great strategy. So we're going to spend some time doing stuff now, okay? So for instance, you have 36 touch program. If you have not developed your 36 touch program, let's just sketch it out. Like write down, okay, if I'm going to do 12 newsletters a year through email, right? Like an email campaign. Sorry. A mass email. What is going to be valuable to people that they'll want to open up? How many of you guys have an email campaign already written out, like a plan for it? Any? Okay, right now, who has a laptop? Are you the only one? If you have a laptop, get it out. Do you have a plug? Good news, guys. My daughter got an A on her calculus exam. I know. Me neither. I never even took calculus. I stopped at the requirement. Okay. I look back in regret, but at the time it was a great idea. Okay, go to ChatGPT or Claude, whatever your AI of choice is. Or if you don't want to do AI, you don't have to, but just map out 12 months of a newsletter. And what do you want to ask Chat? Like if you're creating a newsletter, what is something that you would want to open? What would entice you to open a mass email, Sam?
Market, the average
So market stats.
stats, what I offer.
Ashlyn, what would make you want to open an email?
If it's not too long.
Okay, easy to read, but like what in the title, if you know what the email is going to be about, what would make you think I'm going to go read that? Yeah, so houses, house aspirations, tips. Brandon, was that you? Tell me more. Yeah, home value. So our whole goal is to add value, right? Yeah, so if you have a newsletter, this is what Cameron's talking about too. Like you have to ask people to be on your list. You can't just send it randomly. So that's why he's saying call people too, to put them in your database. So you're saying, I want to tell them, like, are you saying, sorry, repeat your question. So it would be like your announcement letter, kind of like I'm in real estate now. This is what I do. This is why I got into real estate. Yeah, you could do that. If you're sending it to people that you know and like, who know and like you, they're probably going to want to read that. If I were sending that to Ben, he probably wouldn't open it though. See you, Ben. Thanks for coming. Local events, awesome. What else? Recipes. Yeah. Tax tips. Man. Recipes, depending on your audience. Oh yeah, trends, home trends. Check-ins. Like what? Oh my gosh. What would that be? Well, it just depends. You want to talk to your audience where they're at. So like if you think your database is probably a little bit varied, but like my database has a lot of people my age in it. And people my age at this time of year are like, I'd rather be in Aruba right now, you know? So I might try to meet them where they're at, like planning a dream vacation. Here's some tips for like maximizing travel points or something. Also, you could use the equity in your home. Go up, just kidding. I wouldn't recommend that. But just meet them where they're at. Like Ashlyn, where are your people at? They're probably like if they're
Different states.
and like, are they thinking about buying a house? Yeah. So they may be more interested in like who's coming in concert and what's cool about my city. Like, here's where do you live? Or so like cool things about Utah County you might not know or something. Or you might talk about housing affordability. Like, think you could never afford a house? Here's some surprising ways you might be able to. So think about where your people are at, what's important to them, and step into the conversations that they might already be having. Does that make sense? So back to school is great in August because they're having that conversation. But back to school in January is obviously not as relevant, right? So think about that. So, okay, you guys, 12 months, write down 12 ideas for relevant newsletters. And I think to your point earlier, Sam, what topic is the newsletter going to be? And then you're always going to include maybe a market snapshot and a deal of the, like you might highlight a particular house or something that brings them back to real estate maybe. You could also do giveaways every once in a while. Those are fun. Some agents do them every month. Some agents do them twice a year, but giveaways are a great one. In fact, I think Becca Summers just talked about a couple weeks ago, they give away a month. And that is one of the best ways she stays in touch with her clientele because they always want to click into it. They're more likely to click into it because it's a good item and it's not a huge pool of people that are competing for it.
I know you can't do like referral fees or anything. So how would you do a giveaway without it being like
it's just marketing, promotion. They're not giving you business to get it. What's your question, Ashlyn?
It's not. There was this agent there who would during around Thanksgiving, he would get like 100 pies and text his whole database of how to make pies. And he actually said that's how he makes most of his money is the clients coming with the pies because people remember it for that.
Yeah.
So every year
and it's helpful to them because he's meeting them in the conversation they're having, right? It's on their minds. Oh, that's awesome. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's awesome. So giveaways are a great thing. And it could be a giveaway like enter to win or just I'm giving everybody this thing at this time of year. So there's lots of different things you could do a similar thing with, like Easter basket or a dozen rolls whenever there's a big event, like it's, 4th of July, you could do something, whatever food people are having, or, events are another good thing to put in your monthly emails. If you don't host an event yourself, this is another thing I think it would be fun for you newer agents. Events are a great way to call your people, a great reason to call your people. So hosting an event on your own feels intimidating, and also who's going to come? What if nobody shows up? And then they're like, oh no, Brandon is a realtor with 10 clients. Awesome, But if Brandon and Stacy get together and have an event, then all of their people are coming. So now there's 20 people instead of 10 people. If Brandon, Stacy, Ashlyn, and Sam get together, then it's even better, right? Easier planning, you spend less money, it's less scary, and all your clients are like, oh my gosh, Stacy has so many clients. Look at all these people here. You know what I mean? So events are a great way to contact people, both email and phone call, and then also face to face if they come. So that's a good one. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking for a minute, and then we're gonna talk about your ideas. Becca. Summers. You should look her up. She is exemplary in every way. I know. Well, she's a broker. She's a part owner of the Excellence. So, there's KW Westfield, Orem. Then there's KW Westfield Excellence in Mapleton. And then there's like an Eagle Mountain one. And there's KW Arcadia, which is just one person, Amy Kendall. She's really awesome. Anyway, Excellence, pretty big brokerage. There's like 40 to 50 agents there, and they're looking to double that, I think, this year. So she's awesome. Yes. Okay, take 5 minutes and just look at ideas.